You guessed it, I'm dropping knowledge. Okay, so I know the intro was a little bit dramatic, but we've all been there. The struggle is real, people. If you've got natural hair, especially a TWA, the biggest thing you want to see is growth. You want to see length. You want to see progress. And sometimes it's hard to see that progress, and sometimes it's just not happening as fast as it is. And maybe we're not getting to that, 2 years waist length goal that we had. And I'm just going to give you 7 reasons why your TWA isn't growing.
Number 1.
Shrinkage. We've all been there, we all know what it is, and sometimes it hinders us from seeing the growth our hair has made. And it can look like your hair isn't growing, but pull one of those strands out and just see how far it's grown. Now, a few ways to deal with this would be to try stretching your hair using
twists, braids, bantu knots, blowout even
if you're not averse to heat, or even flat iron. I've seen a lot of people flat iron their TWAs and it gave them this nice, Rihanna-esque looking thing, and it really looks good. So look into some ways of stretching. There's so many ways to stretch your TWA.
Banding, threading, the options are endless. Yes.
Number 2, manipulation. That includes combing, brushing, twisting, everything like that. When you've got a TWA, it has to be looking on point all the time, because you can't just stick it in a bun, you can't just braid it up. There's no out. This is what you got. And countlessly trying to define every little curl on our head, it looks good, but sometimes it can be detrimental to our hair. So sometimes
put down that Denman brush, don't twist, don't do bantu knots, and just lessen the manipulation.
Make sure you're doing long-term styles that last for more than 3 days, so that you're at least not manipulating your hair every day. Maybe you're just spritzing it and you're out the door. Also, when detangling your TWA, try to be gentle. I know the hair is short, but still doesn't mean rip through the knots. You still have to be careful. And if you want to know how to safely detangle your TWA, I have a finger detangling tutorial, which I will put somewhere over there, and you can check that out.
Number 3,
moisture. Your hair needs moisture to survive. Natural hair cannot survive without moisture, and it's hard to keep your TWA moisturized because it feels like anything you put on it evaporates, and that's why you have to make sure you're sealing, and that's why you have to layer your products. If you're finding it hard to retain moisture, maybe you could try the greenhouse method, or maybe you could try the lock method as well. The options are endless in terms of moisture. There should be a good moisture retention. Dry hair breaks, and when your hair breaks, you're not going to see any growth, basically. Number 4, dyeing.
Not that type of dye. I'm talking about hair dye.
I know that sometimes it's easy to get bored with this every day, and sometimes you think, this is the time to experiment with all the colors of the world, and that's awesome, but you're doing a lot of damage to your hair, because colors can permanently alter your hair structure and can damage your hair so much because of the chemicals that they contain. So if you're thinking of coloring your TWA, I would recommend something natural like henna, indigo, stuff like that. And I would also not recommend doing like too many colors in a short space of time, because it contributes to the damage of your hair, and it can also cause your hair to get dry and break off. Also,
colored hair requires more moisture because the porosity gets raised. So if you've got dyed hair, you have to work even harder to keep it moisturized and be even more vigilant with your regimen and your conditioning and your deep treatments and things like that. So I would say really think before you decide to color your hair, and I would definitely recommend a natural color treatment.
Number 5, the environment. Sometimes outside factors such as sun exposure, hard water can cause the damage of your hair. Things like, using a cotton pillowcase and just sleeping on it without a satin bonnet. Things like that can contribute to breakage, ripping out of your hair, weakening of the hair. I know hard water contains chemicals that can definitely cause dryness in your hair, causing it to break off. And the sun, and the same way your skin can't stay forever just roasting in the sun, it's the same with your head. You can't just chuck your hair in the sun 24/7 and it's gonna be cool. So I mean, some products have sunscreen in them. Apart from that, I've read that castor oil has an SPF in it. So if you're living in a tropical area or something like that, try not to stay in the sun for too long. But also, the same with your skin, try not to stay within the sun for too long, and try and put something on it, wear a hat, protect your hair basically.
Number 6,
protein is very important because
your hair is practically made out of the stuff.
So everyday things we do, sleeping on a pillow, leaning against a couch, just running your hands through your hair, combing, anything can mess up with the protein structure of our hair, causing damage. And we definitely need to make sure that we're doing something to make sure the structure of our hair is staying sound. Frequent protein treatments like the egg protein treatment, yogurt, there's some you can buy as well, but make sure your hair is getting enough protein.
And the final one, number 7,
sometimes you just have a slow growth rate. I know I'm one of those people. The average growth rate for hair is 1/2 inch a month. Now some people,
blessed as they may be,
can do more than that. They can do 1 inch a month, they can do 3/4 of an inch a month, but some people do less than that, so they're not going to get that 6 inches a year that they want. Maybe they're only getting 4 or 2.5 or 4.5 or something like that. So sometimes you just have to watch how your hair is growing. Sometimes your hair just grows really slowly, and that just means it's going to take more time to get to where you need to go. But it's not a race. It is not a race, it is a journey. And I mean, the point is to just look out the window, watch the view, and savor every moment of it, because
you're gonna miss your TWA, and you're gonna miss the convenience of just waking up and putting water in your hair and just going and going home and going to work. You're gonna miss it. And so just enjoy the journey. Try to be patient.
If you are taking care of your hair, it will grow. I've never met anyone who has hair like this and then I met them after 3 years and they were like, I'm taking care of my hair and it's still this length. That's impossible. Your hair will grow if you take care of it properly. So if you're suffering from any of the issues I mentioned in this video, you can ask more questions in the comment section. You can request an individual video about anything I've talked about today, or you can tell me reasons why your TWA isn't growing, or times when your TWA stopped growing, and I really want to hear about this. So until next time, like the video, and subscribe for more TWA stuff. So, ciao.
Get the money, dollar, dollar, dollar.